Hello, I'm Connor Wilson for LaxAllStars.com. Welcome to Traditional Thursday, with your questions answered. So our first question comes from Reardon Sheena, and he's saying that he's trying to put traditional about 2 days ago. This happened a while ago, but I'm going to answer it anyways. And he's been playing with it every day since. Good release, but he can't wind up because it has no hold. He says he barely has any horizontal hold. He really wants to be able to throw insane fakes, the toe drag, wind up, all that kind of stuff. Well, a big part of that is the break-in process is not going to be complete after 2 days. So breaking in your lacrosse stick when it's traditionally strung is extremely important, and it really does take time. You're going to go out and play a wall ball initially, and that's certainly going to help. And then every single evening when you're done, I recommend putting in a tennis ball and a chopstick where you want your pocket to flow. This is going to help the string kind of figure out its tightness. You're also going to be able to see where the string is a little loose and where the string is a little tight. So if you put a chopstick with a tennis ball in every single night, you're going to make sure that your pocket is developing and breaking in the right way. The biggest part of it though is really playing wall ball. I mean, the leathers are going to be stiff, the cross lace is going to be stiff, and it's going to take time to really break that in so that you have the feel that you want. Once it's a little bit softer and it's kind of set in its way, then you can just kind of start to mess around with your shooting strings a little bit more, take some out, put some in, and that's kind of should give you the final tweak to kind of get you to that point that you want. So the biggest recommendation I have is play lots of wall ball and put a tennis ball and a chopstick in every night to make sure that your pocket is staying in the right place and that it's kind of held tight each evening for a couple hours. That'll help it kind of create some memory. Jake Pistotnik also has a great question, and he's wondering, what does sidewall do in a traditional if you use it where cross lace is usually used as opposed to normal cross lace? And this is a great question. I've actually found that there's not a big difference in how the pocket performs, how it breaks in, any of that stuff. The sidewall does tend to fray a little bit more. It's a little bit rougher, and each knot in a traditional has little pieces of string that rub against each other. So since the sidewall is a little bit rougher, it tends to fray a little bit faster. This can lead to an interesting and different break-in, quite a bit down the road. But really, off the bat, there's not a huge difference between the two, and I think you can use either. Traditional sticks used to be strung with boot lace, so there are a lot of different things that you can try. You can try paracord, you can try Venetian blind cord, and all of these strings are going to give you a different feel. So if you're really into traditional, don't get set with one. Try a number of these different things, see how they interact, see how it works for you, for the style of pocket that you string, and try it out. But I think cross lace, it's really designed for that friction, so it does, once it kind of sets, it locks in place pretty well, maybe not as well as a sidewall, but then it doesn't fray as quickly, it doesn't break down as quickly. So for me, that's a big advantage of using cross lace, is that it should last a little bit longer, even though it looks a little bit thinner. Luke Stillwell wanted to know, can you use 6 leathers in a 6-shooter pocket as opposed to 4 leathers and 2 runners? And the answer to that is yes, you can definitely do that. It will throw a little bit differently. The pocket, because the leather is thicker than the runner, will be a little bit chunkier. There will be a little bit more to it. But it's not necessarily going to affect it. It's all in how you string, how your tension is aligned, and how your leathers are set up. So you can definitely use 6 leathers in a 6-shooter pocket. It's a good question. Definitely something worth trying. You'll find that pocket will take even more time to break in. With the additional leathers, with the additional structure, it's going to take more time. But once it does, it could be the most consistent of pockets. It's worth a shot. So Sam Miller wrote in asking if you could do a 2-string pita pocket with nylon runners. And I can't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to do this. I think it's definitely an interesting question. Your biggest problem is going to be how you tie off the string at the bottom of the nylon runners. Just because, cross lace on nylon is going to slip more than cross lace on a stitched piece of leather. So if you can find a way to kind of wrap those strings back around the cross lace to hold it down, to hold it in place, I think the idea has plenty of merit, and it could be a really interesting pocket. So Sam, keep working on your skills. I want to see this from you. So create it. Let's see it. Good luck. We also got a number of questions in the last weeks and months asking, what do I do if my pocket has lip? And this really means when you're throwing the ball, it's a great throwing question. When you're throwing the ball, the ball's coming out and it's hitting off of the plastic and throwing down because of that. Or it's hitting this top nylon, which is maybe too tight, and hitting that and going down. What do you do? So, my answer to that again is you really want to take a tennis ball, put it in there using a chopstick. And, it's my go-to method. And then look at the portion of the stick up here. If there's a lot of extra looseness in your cross lace up here, you're going to have a bad time. The ball is going to hook, it's going to come out, and instead of having kind of that gradual release, which you can really see, right? It kind of sits there and it releases gradually. It looks like a mesh pocket to a certain extent. Instead, if you end up having a real deep pocket up top because this is loose, you're going to run into that hook problem. And 99% of the time, if you have a traditional stick that's hooking, that's your problem. It's not that your shooting strings are off or anything else is wrong with your stick or that it's strung poorly. It's that your string up top is too loose. So my big recommendation is to put a ball in with a chopstick where you want the ball to sit and then tighten up that top. It may take a little bit of time to break in again, but it's going to be well worth it. It's going to keep your stick from lipping, and it's going to give you a much more consistent and accurate throw. Now, Val Ballesteros has a great question about how to get started on a traditional goalie head. It's really a very similar process to a single string, and you can check out that tutorial on Lacrosse All-Stars. The concept is really the same thing, except it's bigger. Allow your leathers to be pulled out, and then start on one corner, and try and keep that kind of as taut as possible. You should get a pretty good pocket though. It definitely takes a lot of time. Talk about break-in. I think you want to go with more diamonds as opposed to fewer diamonds. So shoot to put in 10 to 15 diamonds in a goalie stick. If you do give it a shot, I'm very interested to see how it turns out. But again, all of the principles are really the same. So try to keep it consistent, and you should be all right. It's definitely going to be a challenge, but good luck. Thanks for watching. If you guys do have questions, send them on in to info@lacrosseallstars.com, and we'll try to get to them in the future. Keep stringing traditional. Keep asking questions. You'll get it. You'll get it.